Good morning and welcome to Vision, everyone. I'm so glad you've chosen to be here with us today. And for those of you joining us online, I'm so happy that you're here today. You are so welcome. We've got lots to celebrate, and we're going to start right now. So let's stand together and celebrate our faith.
Resonate in that attitude of gratitude. What a wonderful day. What a great day to be alive. What a great day to be here at Vision. Vision Community Online, it's a perfect day for you to be tuning in as well. So before we take another step or say another word, let's pray in. I give great thanks for this, for all of this good, knowing that God is the source and supply of everything. The sun and the rain, the water that quenches our thirst, the food that sustains us, everything in the natural world we know is an outpicturing. It is a thought in the mind of God, as are we. We are that. We know that Spirit has sought and found a way to outpicture in form, and we are that, and all life is that. There is one life. It is God. It is whole, perfect, and complete. It is our life right here and right now, and it is all good in all ways. Giving great thanks for this, I simply let it be, and so it is. It's so good to see you. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about Vision, a Center for Spiritual Living. This is a happy place to be. Yeah, right? It is. It's a happy place to be. We are community. We are a spiritual community, and that's what makes this such an important part of our lives. We know that there is a belonging here, and you're here, and I'm here, and they're online there, and we are all in this thing together, this thing called life. So let me tell you a little bit about our licensed practitioners. They are here to pray with us and for us all the time. You can put in a prayer request online. You can put one in the prayer boxes the practitioners are holding right now. There's a prayer prayer form in your bulletin. There's some at the prayer table in the back of the room. Online, there is a page online for you to put your prayer request in. And if you put your phone number on, they will call you at home. A practitioner will call you and pray with you online. I mean, on that line, on your telephone line. They will write you a prayer if you want one written down and email it back to you. If you want a prayer left on your answering machine, our practitioners will do that as well. And then you can listen to it over and over. However you would like to be served in prayer, we are here to serve you in prayer, to know the truth for you, to absolutely pray with you and for you. And we do it all the time, right? Practitioners, don't we pray all the time? See, that's what we do. That is what we do. So please avail yourself of that service. We know that prayer changes things. Prayer changes conditions around us and in our lives because prayer changes us. So please, please, please do that. There is a meet and greet room also. I almost forgot. There's a meet and greet room after our celebration today. There'll be a practitioner there if you would like prayer online. Get to the meet and greet room. They'll stick you in a little breakout room, right, with one-on-one with a practitioner for private prayer as well. So don't take another step without being prayed for. Thank you. Also, let's see, what else did I want to tell you? I got to tell you about the welcome packets. You know, you're here. You saw the welcome packet. I know you did. You passed right by the welcome desk, and it looks just like this. Online, it looks just like this. It has a lovely greeting on it. We say it every week to remind ourselves. We say it for our guests. You can take one of these little beauties home with you and give it to someone you know and invite them into this thing called Vision, a Center for Spiritual Living, because we are a loving, accepting, diverse community of souls everywhere. So there is a greeting on the front of it, so let's say it together. You ready? You with me? Whoever you are and wherever you are welcome here. You are safe and you are loved. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to our wonderful celebration singers. Weren't they fabulous this morning? I love when we open with song. It just opens our hearts. I'm going to turn it over to our celebration singers. They're going to sing our centering song to prepare us for meditation. Take it away.
That's exactly it, right? Move into our time of prayer and meditation, but first we like to take a moment to be with the center of our being.
Good morning. My name is Ann DiNapoli, and I'm a licensed practitioner here at Vision. Please take these quotes into your heart as we move into our 5-minute time of meditation. This quote is from Brian Tracy. Just as your car runs more smoothly and requires less energy to go faster and farther when its wheels are in alignment, you perform better when your thoughts and feelings, goals and values are in balance. And then from our founder, Ernest Holmes, we reach out to infinity, and since we cannot encompass infinity, we shall always be expanding and enlarging our capacity to know and to experience. The memorial candle is lit today for Charlie Grinnell, Nan Agreste's niece's husband. Charlie made his transition this past week, and for Dale Elbert, who made his transition 2 weeks ago. He's the youngest brother of Gary Elbert. And we know absolutely that there is no death, that our souls live on and simply transition into a higher and greater existence. And I know for these families that they are knowing and accepting that all there is God, and that there is healing and love and compassion left in the wake of this, and that they are remembering all of the good memories and all of the love. And I know for us, all of us, I know that there is one mind, one God, one power, and that this entire existence is God. I know that our consciousness has brought us here today, that we are reminded of who we are and what we are, and that we are that individual expression of God. I know that this service uplifts us, brings us joy and togetherness, love. I know that Patti's talk, that the music, that simply being here brings us closer to the knowingness of that God within us, and that God is all there is. And I am so grateful for this community, for this experience, for this knowledge, for our founder who knew that God is all there is, and for all the teachings. And so I am so grateful for the love, the compassion, the prosperity, the abundance of life. And so I release this knowing it is all good, it is all God, and so it is.
Well, we had another cancellation. And you know, there's some artists who have a great depth of what they do. And so we have just decided, you know, if somebody cancels, we call Ria, because it takes, you know, other people hem and haw, and they think for a week or two what the right song is, and we know that she has a repertoire that will cover whatever comes up at the last minute. So thank you, Ria.
Thank you, hon. So Lester Holt, my news reporter hero, told me the other day that we have lost over 700,000 people just in the United States to COVID. This song was written by Lady Gaga as a tribute to her grandfather. The night he was passing, her family was together. Her dad was sitting next to her on the piano. They were doing evidently happy shots of tequila while telling stories in honor of him. And her father, who was very upset because it was his dad, she kept saying, "Daddy, he has had a great life, and now he's on the edge of glory, of the most glorious moment of his life. And he's going to be with Grandma and our family." So I was going to change the song around a little bit, because if you've heard it in the clubs, it's got a whole different feel. But when I knew the backstory, I thought, what an amazing homage to her grandfather and to all these people. And I can only hope, no matter how young or old, as they've passed from this horrible plague that we have, that they have been on that edge of glory and had that life, and then God just takes them in his arms. So here's to all of those.
There ain't no reason you and me should be alone tonight, my babies, tonight, my babies. I got a reason you should take me home tonight. I need someone that makes it right when it's all wrong, my baby, tonight. before we kiss the other side. Tonight, my baby, tonight, my baby. I'm on the edge of something final we call life tonight. Put on your shades, 'cause I'll be dancing in the flames. Tonight, my baby, tonight, yeah, baby. It isn't hell if everybody knows my name tonight. Oh, it's time to feel the rush, to push the dangerous. I'm gonna run right to the edge with you, where we all can fall in love. I'm out on the edge of glory, and I'm hanging on a moment of truth. Out on the edge of glory, and I'm hanging on this moment with you. I'm out on the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge. Out on the edge of glory, and I'm hanging on a moment with you. I'm on the edge with you, hanging on this moment with you. I'm on the edge with you.
That was so nice to hear the backstory. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thanks, Ria. That's why. So we are in October, and the theme is about going further together. And you know, and I know a lot of times we use further and farther as synonyms, and they're not. But I don't really know what they were trying to say in go further together. I think it's about exploring deeper our philosophy and different world philosophies and everything. But I just sort of wanted to take it in another direction today. So today's talk is go faster, go farther. Okay, so it is different. It's not the further, it's the farther. Yeah, and I know, as in going further, right? Is the month's theme is go further, but I know, I get it. I'm not sure they got it, though. You know, whoever made the theme for the month, because it can be really slippery. Anyway, last week we talked about going further into our spiritual philosophy. We talked all about the differences and the similarities in different philosophies. But this week, I want to talk about going farther as in distance, right? Going farther in distance. And so today's talk, go faster, go farther, is actually taken from an African proverb. And it really is an African proverb, by the way, because I did the research. You know, I looked it up, honest to God, because, you know, you hear these things all the time. Somebody will say, oh, it's an old Irish, you know, saying. It's an old Italian thing. It's an old African proverb to try to lend credibility. This is a real African proverb. It's awesome. Parademiology, right, is the study of the origins of proverbs. It's a real thing. There you go. There's your new word for the day. It was my new word for last week. Parademiology, the study of the origins of proverbs. And they looked this proverb up, and I searched and searched and searched, and it turns out it does come out of Burkina Faso, which is a landlocked African nation in the western part of the continent. And it says this: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So that's what I'm talking about. Go faster, go farther. Which is it? What are you going to do, right? The lone wolf, but the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives, right? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And actually, not only does it show up in Burkina Faso, but it shows up on the eastern side of the African continent as well, in the Luo language. A little different, but it says, alone a youth runs fast, with an elder slow, but together they go far. So it's very similar it's a very similar thing. So we can go it alone, right? We can be the lone wolf, but together we go far. And I thought that was really important, particularly now, because it feels like we're talking about the importance of spiritual community, the importance of being together, particularly during this time, right? Particularly during a worldwide pandemic. Who thought you were going to be living through one of those, huh? You know, when you were growing up thinking, gee, what's going to happen to me in my future? Who would have written this one down? I think I'll live through a worldwide pandemic. I don't know. How about you? But the idea of being supported by spiritual community, the idea of being stronger together, right? Together we go far. Together we can handle anything that comes our way. This idea, you know, that this is an old saying talk, I guess. I don't know. You know that old saying that God never gives you any more than you can handle? You know that? Yeah, that's BS. I just want to tell you right here and now, that is BS. And I'm not even talking belief system. I'm talking the other BS. Pure BS, right? I am absolutely positive God gives us more than we can handle quite often. And that is why we have spiritual community. That is why we come together in places like this. That's why you're online. That's why you're visiting us, right? Because we are greater together. There is importance in being connected to each other in spiritual community. When we are in community, someone has our back. I mean, that's how we feel, right? Someone has our back. Someone can lift us. Someone can make us a meal. Someone can lend us an ear. Someone can lend a hand. Someone can sit in the silence with us. We know that we have support when we are together. When we are in need, someone in the group has it, right? Someone in the group has it and can give. Which leads to another old saying, leads to another old saying, joys shared are multiplied, sorrows shared are divided. And isn't that true? Isn't that so true? And that's an old Swedish saying, by the way. I looked that one up too. It's an old Swedish saying. Yeah, joys shared are multiplied. And isn't that the truth, right? You burst forward with some good old great news. Everybody else gets happy around you. It's like effervescent. Everybody bubbles. And when you get together with sorrow, sorrow is lessened, isn't it? As it's shared among us, right? It's true. It's true. As spiritual community, we can sit with each other in the good times, the births, the weddings, the celebrations of the seasons. That's why it's so fun to come here for Christmas Eve. And we celebrate Kwanzaa, and we celebrate Hanukkah, and we celebrate Halloween. At the end of the month, we're going to celebrate by getting into costume, right, Johnny? Oh, we are going to celebrate everything, right? So we get together and we celebrate things, and that's joys are multiplied. We always leave better, right? Feeling better than when we came. We also get to sit together in our sorrows. We get to sit together and hold each other in deaths, in grieving, in loss, in disappointments and disasters, and worldwide pandemics. Because that's what we do here, right? We are here to support each other, to uplift each other. Ernest Holmes had a woman talk. He addressed a women's group, 1957, and he said this: heaven cannot be heaven for any one of us alone, but only in a community of spirits can hold communion with the one and only God that every religion has proclaimed and whose reality all faiths have proven. Right? There's only one life. It's God's. And we come together to remember that, to remember for ourselves, for that reassurance that that seed of perfection that is nestled within us is alive and well. And we come together to remember it for other people and to share that idea that we are greater than maybe what we think we are in the moment. We are greater than our little human experience might tell us in the moment. We realize our oneness with spirit, as spirit in form. We know that with our heads, right? We know that with our heads, that is truth. And core concept 1 tells us God is all there is. There's nothing else. There's nothing else happening. There's only spirit showing up as trees and oceans and whales and people and blades of grass. We know that we can know that we are spirit in form. Sometimes we have trouble knowing it for other people. Oh, come on, You know that one person, that just came to your mind right now. The one you have problems with, right? The ones you struggle to love, darn them, you know? We know it. And we know in spiritual community, we embrace all kinds of people. We are a diverse organization, right? All faiths, all beliefs, and we embrace all people. And some of them you're gonna resonate like best friends with, aren't you? You're just gonna get together and you know these people, you start going out to lunch or movies or whatever, you're just gonna resonate with them like you know them forever. And then there are those other people, you're not gonna, you know what I mean, that you mix with like oil and water. And that's really what it's all about, isn't it? Because this is our spiritual proving ground, right? Do you practice the principles? Really? Do you practice the principles? Right? That is our spiritual practice. And what was it when you were little? It was your family. Your family was your spiritual proving ground, right? Weren't there siblings? Anybody have siblings they wanted to kill when they were little? Okay? I mean, it just was. This was our spiritual proving ground because you had siblings you wanted to kill. You had, bullies and mean ones and goofy ones and ones you just wanted to like throttle, It's our spiritual proving ground. Here we are as adults. This is our spiritual proving ground. Do we believe what we say we believe? Core concept number 1, God's all there is. Oh, you're God too. How do you do? You're God too. How do you do, right? To see God in all people, and it's an all. It's not a some, it's not a most, it's not just the ones I like, or it's just not the ones on the other side of the world I'll never meet, so I can love them unconditionally, right? It's that pain in the ass down the street that always leaves their garbage cans out that I just want to kill, It's all people. There was no exceptions to that rule, right? To love all people, to see God in all people. Ernest Holmes said this in Ideas of Power. He said, love is the only final security in the universe. Yeah, love is the greatest healing power in the universe. And the only thing that binds people together in a community of spirit. That's it. God is love. We are that. We are that. And so that's what we have to offer, right? Ernest Holmes said, love, it's the cornerstone of all of our spiritual communities. We have nothing else to sell. And I love it. And he was right. We have nothing else to sell. This spiritual community is it. And here's the good part about being in spiritual community with all of these people and all of the people online too. You're all there. And we're missing you, right? We're missing you being here and but we're still supporting you. You're still supporting the center. We're supporting each other. I mean, and we don't all have to have the same ideas, and isn't that lovely? Isn't it lovely? We don't all have to have the same ideas. Ernest Holmes said unity, not uniformity, right? Oh, we're all going to step on the same foot at the same time now. We're all going to, it's like, no. We love this idea that we can come together and have wonderful, wonderful talks about things. And we can have lovely, lively discussions, passionate discourse about what we believe. There are a variety of thoughts in this room. There are, right? People who believe differently about certain things. We have a variety of thoughts and beliefs and opinions, don't we? I hear you at hospitality. When we used to put the tables out, we would talk and have all sorts of opinions about all things. And there are things we will not agree on. I think that's lovely. There are things that we will not agree on, and we will have different opinions. And isn't that lovely that we get to share these things? And we get to know, well, how do you feel about that? Or what do you think about that? And all kinds of stuff. It's healthy to be able to talk about things. I remember years and years ago when I was a child, the rule of thumb was always, when you're in a group of people, you never talk about religion or politics, right? Have you heard that? That was like a rule of thumb. Never, ever, 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 ever talk about religion or politics. And you know what happened? In the ensuing years, we have become unable to talk about religion or politics. Because we haven't tried, we haven't practiced, we didn't become skilled at it. And so now, with a few exceptions, we can't. We can't do it without it devolving into name-calling and, like, stupid stuff. We should be able to talk about anything. We are a spiritual community. How do we grow if we're never, ever challenged about what we think? Right? If someone doesn't say, oh, really, you think that way? Explain why. And then you go, oh, wait a minute, let me think. Why do I believe that? Maybe it was what my parents thought. Maybe it was what my grandparents thought. Maybe it's what I thought when I was 20. Do I still believe that? You know, it gives us an idea and an opportunity to understand ourselves better when we have to explain what we believe to others. We are pack animals by nature, let's face it. Right? We are. I mean, I don't mean the kind like where I put, straw on your back and haul you up a mountain. I mean, not that kind of pack animal. I mean, this kind of pack animal. We're kind of like wolves. We belong to each other. We thrive in group settings. That's why we're always seeking them out. We're always seeking out groups to belong to something greater than we are, and a place to give our gifts and talents. You're good at this, I'm good at that, we're good at different things, and we can add to the diversity of the group, we can add to the talents of the group. We bring our own strengths and gifts and talents to a pack. Look, if we were all cooks, who would grow the food? If we were all hunters, who would cook the food? We each have to have our own individuality, our own strengths, our own ideas, our own thoughts, and we bring that to the group. Or how else would we grow emotionally? How else would we grow intellectually if there was no give and take, if there was no challenge, right? How else would we grow spiritually if there was no one out there to say, you might want to think about that? Or let's discuss it further. Let's discuss it further, not farther, but further. Right? And we don't all have to stand on the same foot at the same time. We shouldn't all believe the same things. Ernest Holmes never said you have to, check your brain at the door when you walk into a spiritual community, a science of mind community. You're supposed to bring your questions. You're supposed to. Ernest Holmes never intended pack mentality when he created centers, right? He wanted that individuality, that unity without uniformity. We're not supposed to have to agree on everything in order to be spiritual community, in order to be part of the pack. Ernest Holmes never intended that. He said to himself, even about the book, about the Science of Mind textbook, read it. Take what works for you. Throw the rest out. Doesn't matter. Take what works for you. Prove the principles of science of mind. Prove that prayer changes things. Prove that you can change your thinking and it changes your life. Prove these things. As far as the other thoughts he had, particularly even in the chapter on immortality, it was the only chapter in the book that he wrote from the first person, because he said, this is what I believe to be true about immortality. You can believe whatever you want. Because it didn't, we don't have a dogma. So we can believe what we want to. And what happens? We get groups like this. We get groups like this. There are conservative people and liberal people and progressive people and people who believe in libertarianism and like all kinds of different groups and different ideas and different beliefs. And we get to come together to understand all of that stuff. We get to do the work, right? We get to do the work, this spiritual practice that we started out as children. Right? We practiced with our siblings. We practiced with our parents. They may have thought differently than you, and you had challenges with them, and you could punch them every once in a while, but you can't do that here. We get older, and we express ourselves differently. Ernest Holmes said, take what works for you and leave the rest. And we know that our consciousness grows as we grow, right? Our consciousness expands as we do this spiritual work. Ernest Holmes, in his Armistice Day, back in those days, that's what they used to call it, right? Armistice Day, 1936. He said, if we would promote the idea of peace in the world, we must begin with our own individual consciousness. The whole nation, the whole community of nations, making up as it does a community of humanity, all are aggregates of individuals, just like we are. And we can say the same thing about groups of spiritual communities. They are all made up of individuals just as we are. And we are all coming together because we have certain beliefs that align with each other. And then everything else is like, yeah, everything else is what it is. But it all begins with us. It all begins with the individual consciousness. That's what Ernest Holmes said. Everything begins in the individual mind. We know we are one with each other, right? We know that, as well as we know we're one with spirit. But it's our spiritual practice to continue to look at the other as spirit, right? That is our spiritual practice. When we get lit up, when we get our buttons pushed, when that does, you're ready to just know that it's like, no, it begins with me. It begins with my consciousness. Where am I? Why did that light me up? Why did that person who said that thing light me up? There's something inside of me. It is our spiritual practice to continue to look at that stuff. That's how we grow spiritually. That's how we expand our consciousness. And that's how we get to be together in groups no matter what people believe. We can go the whole broad spectrum of religion and politics and everything in between and still get along with each other and still thrive in a community of people who don't have to think alike. It is our spiritual practice to always look at the other person and see them as God sees them. Whole, perfect, and complete. Out picturing of spirit. Ernest Holmes did a talk on Christ consciousness. And he said, our lesson is on this subject, that Christ enters through the door of our thought. Christ is the consciousness of immediate oneness between ourselves and the universal mind, or creator, or God, whatever you want to call it. That immediate oneness. When the Christ consciousness enters us, there is no thought of separation. We're one. We're one. We're showing up in all different ways and sizes and shapes, and we're still all one. We still get to meet and greet each other as the Christ. Here we are, beloveds. We are all together. We are in this together. And we are spiritual community. You know what? I got a text this morning. I love this. I got a text this morning from a member of our community saying, I'm not going to be here today because I'm going to go see Reverend Sam. He's guest speaking at a church in Pacific Beach. And so we're going to go see him. And so they're not here, they're there. And I thought to myself, how wonderful is that? How wonderful is that? Well, first of all, that they texted me, right? Because it's like, hey, we are community. It's like, okay, so I'm not going to be here today because I'm going to be there. And yet, over there to celebrate and support our Reverend Sam, which is like that spiritual community. Do you see that? I'm like, oh my God, that's so wonderful. And they told me too, which I'm like so digging that, yay. We're all part of this spiritual community. And when I've been thinking about this, because change is happening, right? You look around, we're slowly emerging from this thing. This pandemic, right? We're slowly emerging, a couple of steps forward, a couple of steps back, The variant has made us a little hesitant. We all thought it was over in the spring. I know I did. I was like, yay, we're all getting vaccinated. We're doing this. Yay, we're coming out of the woods. We're out of the dark. I don't sing, I swear. I won't subject you to that. But you know what I mean. And then the Delta variant happened, and we all sort of took a couple of steps backward and went, okay, not so fast. Not so fast, back to the masks, back to this and that. But what is going to greet us when we do emerge from this time of hibernation, right? We're here a little bit, we're online a little bit, we're scattered throughout, but what's going to greet us when we come out of this pandemic? As we slowly come out of hibernation, how do we want to emerge? I think the question is, who do we want to be when COVID is over? Who do you want to be when you come out? Well, you know what I mean. Fabulous. I want to be fabulous. And what world do we want to create? when we come out of this pandemic, what do we want to create? What is going to be our new normal? Because we have to set that intention now. This is what this is all about, right? We all kind of hunkered down all this time, but we get an opportunity here and now to be very powerful manifestors, to be really clear about what it is we want to manifest. What's the world we want to create when we come out of this? What do I want to be when this COVID pandemic is over? Who do I want to be? That's the questions we need to ask ourselves now and put into practice, those daily spiritual practices that get us there. Ernest Holmes wrote this essay called Creative Optimism. And that is us, isn't it? I mean, really. Anyway, he said, every man is a law unto himself, under the great law of life. So, collectively and individually, right now, we should be endeavoring to identify our whole consciousness to a new world. A world living together in peace, in prosperity, in happiness. And when enough people do that, that is the way it'll be. And that's the intention I want to set. That's the world I want to emerge into. He goes on to say this, just as the sum total of our thoughts govern our individual lives, so the sum total of our collective thoughts govern our nation, and the sum total of the collective thought of the community of nations governs their destiny. But it must always start with the self. Must always start with the self. And he said, what could keep us from doing this other than the belief it's not true? It's the only thing that stops us from devoting our lives to world peace, devoting our prayer, our consciousness, our daily prayer practice, our daily spiritual practice, is the fact that, I can't control that, right? But enough of us can, it does. He said, don't let us do it unless you can make an enthusiastic, most convincing thought in your life. Don't open up to divine possibility that you have never reached before, only to close it again. Remember, all the power there is centered in your consciousness. We are truly an inlet to it, and we can be an outlet to it. So that's what going together, right? Going far, going fast is all about. It is about coming together in spiritual community, dedicating, devoting, setting these powerful, powerful intentions, being committed to them, knowing the best that there is. Ernest Holmes in 365 said, the household of God is a household of perfection. And that's what we are. We're a household of God. It is the secret place of the Most High. The inhabitants of this household are all divine beings. Nothing can enter the consciousness of any of these inhabitants that contradicts the unity of good. Each and every member of our household is at peace with all the other members. There is a community here of peace, of understanding, of fellowship, of love, and of unity. It's called Vision, a Center for Spiritual Living. Thank you.
Hang on. Vision, here, out there. Thank you.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. I'm not ashamed to say, I hope it always will stay this way. My hat is off, won't you stand up and take a bow? be for me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend. Oh, thank you for being a friend. If it's a car that you like, I truly buy you a big Cadillac. Whatever you need, any time of the day or night. I'm not ashamed to say, I hope it always will stay this way. My hat is off, won't you stand up and take a bow? I think I need some friends up here right now. And when we both get older, and with walking canes and hair of gray, have no fear, even though it's hard to hear, I will stand real close and say, thank you for being a friend.
I wanna thank you.
Thank you for being a friend.
I wanna thank you.
Thank you for being a friend.
I wanna thank you.
Thank you for all of my friends.
I wanna thank you.
Thank you for being a friend.
I wanna
Sing
thank
it.
you.
Thank you for being a friend.
I wanna thank you.
I wanna thank you for being.
I wanna thank you.
Thank you for being a friend.
I wanna thank you.
When we die and float away into the night, into the Milky Way, you'll hear me call as we ascend. I'll see you all, and once again I'll say, thank you for being a friend.
I wanna thank you.
Thank you for being a friend. Mark Denislavsky. Thank you for being a friend. The Vision Choir. Thank you for being a
I
friend.
wanna thank
Let me hear you. Thank you for being a
I
friend.
wanna thank you.
Thank you for being a
I
friend.
wanna thank you.
Thank you, all of my
I
friends.
wanna thank you.
Vision. Thank you for being a friend. The best.
Yeah. Thank you for being a friend, Ria. You know, we can always count on you. Thank you so much. You are always here for us. So thank you. Now is our time for conscious circulation. This is our opportunity to give back to those places that nourish us spiritually. If Vision is that for you, this is the appropriate place for your donations. You at home, I would just love, love, love to get those checks in the mail. You know I do, because it keeps us able to do what we do here. And everyone else, if this is the place where you receive, this is the place to give, to keep ourselves in that spiritual truth of giving and receiving, to just stay in that cycle, in the truth, knowing that God is all there is. So if you are choosing to give today, thank you so much, very much appreciated, and let us pray about it. As we hold our gift in our hand or in our heart, knowing that we make those gifts known as being part of the cycle of giving and receiving. We know that we receive gratefully, we give graciously, we remain in the flow, because we know that Spirit is forever giving to its creations, and we are that. We cannot outgive God. We cannot run out of good. We cannot run out of supply or abundance, because we know that God is infinite in nature and that we are that. So as we immerse ourselves even more deeply into the river of God's abundance, we know we stand open-hearted and open-handed, and we give and receive and remain in that flow of eternal good. And so it is. Amen.
Supply. I'm grateful, so thankful. I stand complete in infinite grace, believing, receiving. I celebrate one life in this place. I'm grateful, so thankful. I stand complete, abundant and free, unlimited, unshakable, the all-sufficient source within me. I'm grateful, so thankful. I'm grateful, so thankful. I'm grateful.
So this is where we have our Miracle Minute. I don't have one to share with you today, but keep them coming. Send them in. And I did check this morning. I did check my email this morning before I left the house. I did, just to make sure that if there was one that snuck in at the last minute. But no, I didn't get any sort of report about a demonstration of answered prayer or a Miracle Minute, and I know they're happening. I absolutely know that they're happening in your life, in my life, in everyone's life. So remember, text me in on it. Put me in on the group, whatever it takes. Just remember, send in those demonstrations of answered prayer. I'd love to share them with the group. I would love everybody to know how Spirit is showing up in your life in such a wonderful and remarkable and dynamic way. So next week, I know I'll have some. Right now, it is time for The Last Word by Johnny Kirka.
What in the world is that? It's like a Halloween thing, isn't it, right there? It's a little deep and dark. Yeah, thank you. Vision meet and greet right after our celebration online. Join us for that if you're online. And we've got a practitioner available for prayers for one-on-one, so join us for that. Coffee Connection, Monday through Friday, 8:30 in the morning till about 9 o'clock. Got a fun group getting together there. You can check the website for links. Join that group. They're really cool. They're really a good group of people. They like to say hello to you. Yes, yes, yes. So Andy and Nathan, as you noted, today are not here, and they have canceled their concert for Tuesday as well. So we were supposed to have a concert with them on Tuesday, but both of them were down for the count. So thank you, Ria Carey, for sticking in for us today. We'll have to do another Ria Carey concert soon. What do you think? Another Ria Carey concert? Yes. Yeah. So we'll book something pretty soon on that.
Tuesday night?
On Tuesday, yeah. You ready to go Tuesday, Ria? We got a slot open. On Thursday evening, we have the Folky Monkey, and Gregory Page is going to be with us. So Gregory's excellent. We had Gregory here a couple weeks back singing for us. He'll be here with Joe Rathburn at 7 o'clock. You can join us right here in the room, or you can join us online. Either way, Gregory Page.
He's going to Amsterdam, where he sells out. He's a giant star in the Netherlands.
That guy has got it going on, doesn't he?
He's going to be here.
He's gonna be right here on Thursday evening. So join us. So on Saturday morning, there's a celebration of life, not here at Vision, but it's not Saturday. What time is it, Ron? Okay. If only I was informed when I came up here, I'd be better off, wouldn't I? So 5:30, it's going to be a celebration of life for Phyllis Young, our dear, dear, sweet Phyllis Young. We miss her so much. So the celebration of life is going to be set up for Ron and a lot of the drumming circle people. We will do something for Phyllis here in our room sometime soon, but this is one, it's kind of a special one, and it's going to be set up at 5:30. If you want to know more about that, I can get you more information. Send an email to info@visioncsl.com. I'll send you more information on it, but they're going to be getting together at 5:30 down at the beach, right? Mission Beach? Crown Point, yeah, so Crown Point. So but email at us, info@visioncsl, and I'll let you know more about that, and you can celebrate Phyllis with us. So Darlene Koldenhoven's going to be here in concert with us, and that is Saturday, October 23rd, and I got that date right. And it'll be at 7 p.m. So Darlene's got a new CD coming out, and she's going to be just playing piano. Mark, tell us a little bit about Darlene, if you could.
Yeah. She's written a couple albums for piano. She's written piano music, which is amazing. And Darlene is like impeccably trained, and she was the #1 call for film music in Los Angeles for 10 years, and she won a Grammy singing with a jazz group called Claire Fisher. But let's put it this way: for stadium concerts, she was Barbra Streisand's backup singer. Okay, so she's going to be here, and she's been a singer, but she played the piano. She has played the piano her whole life, so she has written these gems, these incredible piano pieces. And if you remember, like George Winston, when it first came out, that sort of, wow, this is new, this is interesting. So she released one CD, or one book and CD that is at the top of the Billboard charts. And she wrote so much music that she decided to do 2 albums. So this is going to be the release of her second chart, but it's all being done for Billboard also. So it would be fantastic for you to be here. I know you'll love the music. It's amazing stuff.
Yeah. So Darlene, tickets are available on the bookstore, online. Buy your tickets. Come and be a part of that. It's going to be really cool. We've got Darlene for the whole weekend. That weekend, so she's going to be here in the morning singing music, and then a workshop in the afternoon. So all kinds of stuff with Darlene, but her piano music will be that concert. The lending library is open now, so we've got books that are going to be starting to be available, in the spiritual books. If you've got any you want to bring them on in. We'll put them in there. You can borrow them and use them as we go along. Thank you to Kathy Burns for that. Next week, Reverend Patti Paris will be back. Her talk title is Stairway to Heaven and Highway to Hell. She's going to be singing, too. A little AC/DC, a little Robert Plant, some good music next week. Speaking of good music, Janet Hammer will be with us. So for the very first time live on a Sunday morning. Now, we've had Janet sing with us during the pandemic, but this is the first time she'll ever be with us on a Sunday morning. Love Janet Hammer. Come and be a part of that. We're excited about having her. So, I'm breathing heavy. There's a fundraiser going on right now. So here's what's going on. This is our annual fundraiser we do, and this is the thing where we have a matching fund program, okay? So we have a couple people who are willing to give up to $5,000 on this matching fundraiser. And this lovely fundraiser is John in Tights. And I'm not sure how we got to here today, but here we are, and it's going to be fantastic. And Andy Pfeiffer's joining John in Tights that night. We're doing this on, God help me, Halloween Sunday. So the way it's going to work is it's a fundraiser. So like I said, there's 2 different groups who are willing to give up to that kind of money. So if you want to help in matching that, we would appreciate it. You can go onto the website, and there's a matching fundraiser. You can click the button and give monies to Vision to help support us. During the pandemic, we've had a lot of challenges, because we don't have the house full like we used to. So we're just trying to make sure we meet our needs and everything. So thank you, everybody. And as you give, if you want to give some like $1,000 and select another person, Larry Paris, to be in Tights, I am all for that. Our sound guy, Jordan. Anybody you want to have, we are willing to take those dollars from you. They don't know it yet, but they're all going to be in Tights. It's going to be a fantastic Sunday. Thank you, everybody, for that. Keep your contributions coming. Love you guys.
It's a black tight fundraiser. Okay, it is time to stand up, and we're going to say these affirmations. We're going to say them together. We're going to say them in power. We're going to just know the truth for ourselves. You at home, I want you standing up. Come on, get out of the chair. Stand up anyway, even if nobody can see you. You know. So let's say them together. Oh, yay, they match. I'm so happy. Let's say these together. I embrace creative and imaginative thinking. A consciousness of awe and wonder makes all things possible in my life. My heart is spacious enough to hold everything I feel and everything I am. Number 3, okay, we got it. Number 3, it's absolutely, just open up that heart chakra, stand there, shoulders back, let's say this. My heart is spacious enough to hold everything I feel and everything I am. Let us go within on that note and just know that Spirit is everything that I feel and everything that I am. We know that Spirit is our source and supply. That there is only one life, it is God's. It flows through us. And as we awaken to it more and more, we begin to lift our vibration. We begin to attract those things into our lives that support us, that hold us high, that love us. We begin to be a vibrational match for peace, for love, for joy, for abundance, for beauty, for all of the qualities of God to flow through us unabated. Absolutely flowing through us and into form around us, changing our lives for the good. We know that God is good all the time, and so are we. And so it is. Amen.